Winter, an improvised mystery by Shorty. Let's see where this audio takes us. Veronica. The breakfast was an awkward affair after brushing you off in the hallway yesterday. Julius had failed to rise, and it was just you and I, and the sound of knives and forks clattering on plates. The silence stretched, and I was all too relieved when Mrs. Bridges entered and started clearing away the sideboard. What are your plans for the day?" I asked. You finished your mouthful and shrugged. "Oh, got no antiques to appraise? No oil paintings to ogle at?" "Oh no, there's plenty of those," he said. "Well, I could show you the Bluebell Wood if you like. It's one of my favourite places." You dropped your knife and fork with a clatter and stood up. That was eager of you. The woods, as I thought, were beautiful, like an ancient fairyland. We gathered flowers as we went, mostly wild roses, Mother's favourite. With armfuls of wild roses, daffodils and bluebells, I plopped down next to the 2 gravestones. Well, here they are. I didn't wait for a reply. I just started arranging little bouquets and laying them on the graves, putting the previous dead stalks to one side. Thank you for helping me pick them. I really enjoyed that. You passed your bounty of blooms to me and started sneezing. Allergies? They're insufferable, aren't they? And can be dangerous too. I made some more pretty bunches and laid those down too. We were both quiet for a while, lost in thought. "So they both drowned," you said. It's hardly a secret. I wanted to say the story made quite a splash, but I thought that was a little bit disrespectful. Yes, they both drowned. And yes, you're correct. The bodies were never found. Mother loved the ocean. She was like a mermaid. So it wasn't unusual for her to be, swimming at midnight. But from what I gather, the sea was quite calm and, she was a great swimmer, as was Father. A mystery? I don't think so. However calm, the sea can always be treacherous. And sadly, it's more than likely they were both more than drunk. They both lived life to the full, to its absolute fullest. I stood and stretched my legs, feeling a chill go through my bones. Let's get back to the house. Before I could make a move, you stooped quickly and picked up a rose and offered it to me. I studied it in your hand and then graciously accepted it, pricking my finger in the process. In a flash, you had my finger in your mouth and was sucking on it. My stomach did a little flip as I watched your lips, your eyes intent on me. This was far too intimate for my liking, and I pulled away sharply, stepping on the rose that now lay on the ground. "Don't be like that," you said, as you hurried after me. "Like what? You, sir, are far too free with my person." You laughed and said, "What, after the other night?" What do you mean, the other night? You keep alluding to something. No, I don't know. Please enlighten me. No, I didn't come to your room. No, I certainly didn't try and get into your bed. Are you saying that I gave you that scratch? That is just ludicrous. Why would I? I'm not that brazen. You just, shook your head and smirked. I stormed back into the house, slamming the door behind me. What the hell is this problem? There's no way on this green earth that I would ever creep into a man's room try and get into bed and then assault him, scratch his face. Ridiculous. I found refuge in Mother's room. Though, at this point, I felt little comfort. I loved my mother. But I don't know if she actually knew how to love. She put up with me, and when I became a teenager, she was fiercely jealous, and basically ignored me. I wonder what would happen if I was plain, ugly even. Would she have cared for me more? Would she have minded having me around? So, I sat in this room, pining for a mother that never was. There was a noise overhead, and instinctively I went to the attic door. Miraculously, it was open. No key in the keyhole on either side. I opened it and stood listening. Faint creaks and rustles could be heard overhead. I crept slowly up the tiny wooden winding stairs into the dimly lit attic. There was daylight. There were windows, skylights that let in just enough light. I looked around. The attic was large and had various parts. This part straddled Mother's room and Father's room, with a door at each end, one leading to Mother's room and one to Father's room. So any relic, old clothing, or whatever could be easily accessed. I walked across the expanse and tried the door to Father's room. It was open. I hadn't been in there since Father's death. "Hello? Julius? Is that you?" I called as I walked down the winding stairs. I opened the door into Father's room and was hit by the blast of his cologne. Or should I say Julius's cologne, as it was now. The room was empty, but a mess. Where Julius had been foraging. Wardrobe doors flung open, items of clothing on the bed, drawers pulled out. The bed looked slept in. No shrine here. I wished I'd entered it now, before. Just after. So I could wander it. So my fingers could alight on objects that he had just touched. But no. This room has been ransacked. I tried the door into the hall. It too was open. But the hallway was empty. I retraced my steps, up the stairs and into the attic. Well, at least I'm in here now. I wonder what treasures are up here. Standing at the centre, in a shaft of light, I turned a full 160 degrees, looking around, taking in the environment. I noticed a huge chest, something akin to a dressing-up chest. Various items of clothing hung out limply over the edge, some strewn on the floor. Well, I knew Mother wouldn't leave it like this. She was careful, meticulous, oh so neat. Plus, she looked after her things, her treasures, her clothes, her jewellery, everything. Very expensive and exclusive. She wanted them to last. I pulled out a robe, magnificent silk, Chinese. I found a mirror hiding in the shadows and pulled the robe up to me. Golden dragons danced on rich red silk. It was opulent. It was perfect. I loved how it complemented my dark hair and my cat-like eyes. It was then I had a faint memory of Mother in this very kimono. I was small, about 7 or 8, and as usual, I was spying on Mother. She was such a beautiful creature. I was drawn to her. desperate for her attention. So through the crack in her bedroom door, I saw the flash of red and the golden dragon. Mother's voice sounded strange. She was almost laughing, teasing. "He is more of a man than you'll ever be," I heard her say. Father, beet red, knocked a glass out of her hand and glanced towards the door. "Shh, someone's there." Well, my darlings, I hope you liked that little tale. And if you think you'd like me to get my tongue around something a little more spicy, why not join my Patreon? Talking of Patreon, here they are. Shenanigans, Billy, Living Lightning, Pokemon, David, Mad Coffee, Nikki Phantom, Pillowy Slave, Glutamus Maximus, Mordred, Stephen, Campaign for a Better Weekend, Rel, Fire, Outsider HP, Jovi Lucky, B, Ted, Jelly Mage, Aaron, Ben Smith, Cubby, Donny, Glad Happy, and Chibi Dude.